Today we are talking about the second part of our experimental IPA collaboration that we did with Dissolver and 8 State, a foeder fermented hazy IPA. So we took a flagship hazy IPA recipe, fermented it in the foeder, dry hopped it, and bottle conditioned it all in the span of about 7 weeks, which is unheard of for this type of fermentation. We're fortunate to have a very aggressive house culture that can ferment beers down very quickly and still maintain a ton of complexity. I would venture to say that there's not a whole lot of lacto, pedio, Brett mixed cultures that can do this. What that's allowed us to do is have a very complex foeder fermented beer that still also maintains very fresh and intense hop character, hop flavor, and aroma. What is foeder fermented? Essentially that just means over here in our oak fermentation vessel, we fermented this hazy IPA recipe with our mixed culture, our house culture. Different yeasts and bacterias kind of all come together to really change the character of the beer, and so we thought it'd be a fun experiment to take a hazy IPA and ferment it like we would a mixed culture sour beer. Flavors from our house culture tends to be pretty tropical, but with also like a sort of citrusy element, as well as pretty strong amount of sort of musty funk character. I would expect that to come through very much in this beer. However, this was hopped at the same rate as most of our hazy IPAs, so there'll be a lot of citrusy, fruity, a little bit of resinous character that comes through and plays alongside our house culture. So this base IPA is very similar to Zote. Very simple grain bill, Citra, Mosaic, and Chinook in the dry hop. We put it through the same process that most of our hazy IPAs go through in terms of dry hopping, dry hop rates. It's just this really interesting clash of juicy hazy IPA character meets funky wild character.
A spoiler alert. This is not my first time tasting this. I got a sneak peek the other day, and it's just as wonderful to revisit. I feel like people are going to be as stunned as I was. This is a completely unique and super amazing. I think it's a brilliant combination. I think Jason already discussed some of the genesis behind it, the kind of hive mind of three brewers and sort of an off-centered, off-kilter IPA, but I've never had anything like it in terms of like the finish. Like it's got the softness of a hazy IPA, but it's dry, and it's just such an amazing combination. Like juicy, mouth-filling, and citrusy fruity, but with that kind of like pineapple chop, pineapple right in the middle through the heart of it, but still ending like full and juicy. Yeah, it's pretty dry, but it really tastes like a brilliant hybrid. Like hazy IPA is like a handsome, well-dressed gentleman, that this is sort of his like rustic cowboy brother with like a little more scruff and a slightly open shirt. I think it's a really exciting time to see like development in the areas of aging and fermentation as a real powerful, compelling instrument, and combined into styles that you didn't necessarily think of, but when you think of the mango, pineapple, grapefruit peel, and all these qualities coming together in hazy IPAs and oak fermented beers, mixed culture beers, like this is just an amazing synthesis, both in flavor, drinkability, and purpose. Like you can see, like you can imagine yourself drinking this, like it exists in a compelling reason.